All right, today we're going deep inside the human body to look at the aorta. You know, that massive superhighway for all your blood. For decades, fixing it meant a huge, open operation. But what happens when surgeons try to shrink that surgery down, pitting the incredible skill of a human hand against the cold precision of a robot? Let's dive in.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? This is what surgeons have been trying to figure out for years. I mean, think about it. It's like trying to fix the main water pipe for your entire house, but the only way you can get to it is through the keyhole on your front door. That challenge, that's what's driven all of this incredible innovation.
For a very long time, there was pretty much only one way to fix the aorta: open surgery. We're talking a large incision, physically moving organs out of the way, and just getting your hands right on the problem. And look, it works, it's effective, but it's also a massive physical trauma for the body.
So you can see why this set the entire field on a quest. Surgeons knew there had to be a gentler way, right? A method that could give you the same life-saving results, but with way less trauma and a much faster recovery. This need for a better, smarter path is really what lit the fuse for a revolution.
Okay, so this quest, it led to the first huge leap forward. The idea was pretty simple in concept, but absolutely breathtaking in how they pulled it off. What if we could do the entire complex operation through just a few tiny little incisions? This was the birth of laparoscopic surgery. They call it total laparoscopic aortic surgery, or TASLS. And honestly, the best way to wrap your head around it is to picture building a ship in a bottle. Surgeons use these incredibly long, thin instruments and a tiny camera, all inserted through these small ports, to perform one of the most difficult procedures you can imagine, all while watching their own hands on a TV screen.
The whole process is just pure ingenuity. First, they actually inflate the abdomen with CO2 gas to create this, like a surgical dome to work in. Then the tools go in. But the wildest part? They tilt the entire operating table, sometimes up to a 45-degree angle. They're literally using gravity as a surgical tool to gently shift organs out of the way. And then, the surgeon has to do all this delicate, life-saving suturing while staring at a flat 2D image on a monitor, which is a huge challenge for depth perception.
But, and this is a big but, there was a major catch. This technique is phenomenally difficult to master. The source material calls it a disassociation between eye-hand coordination. Basically, your hand moves one way, but because of those long, rigid instruments, the tip moves in a totally counterintuitive direction. The learning curve isn't just steep, it's a cliff. And because it was so hard, very few surgeons could ever really master it, which seriously limited how often it could be used.
So all of a sudden, the problem changed. It wasn't just about being minimally invasive anymore. The real challenge was making that approach accessible, intuitive, and, well, doable for more surgeons. And that's where the next game changer walks onto the stage: the surgical robot.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. This is why the robot was such a breakthrough. Instead of that flat 2D screen, the surgeon gets this magnified, high-def 3D view. It's like they've shrunk down and are right inside the patient. Instead of rigid sticks, the robot's arms have these wristed instruments that move just like a human hand. So poof, that counterintuitive motion is gone. It's like giving surgeons their hands back, but with superhuman precision and zero tremor.
And this wasn't just some niche experiment, you know? By 2020, there were over 5,000 of these Da Vinci robotic systems being used all over the world. Robotics had become, as the source material puts it, an unavoidable force in the surgical field. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. The technology directly solved the biggest problem with the old laparoscopic approach. This study found that the learning curve for the robot was just plain quicker and easier. It lowered that massive barrier to entry, which meant more surgeons could actually perform these complex, minimally invasive procedures. So better tech, easier to learn. This should mean better results, right? A clear-cut victory for the robots? Well, this is where the story gets really fascinating, because the actual published data, it paints a much more complicated picture. Okay, take a look at this. This chart shows how often a surgeon had to basically give up on the minimally invasive approach and switch to a full open surgery in the middle of the operation. And what's shocking is that for aneurysm repair, the robotic approach had the highest conversion rate in these studies, 12.7%. It's a reminder that even the most advanced tech can't always handle unexpected things like severe bleeding or tough calcified arteries. And what about speed? You'd think the robot, with all its precision, would be faster. But the data shows that while the robot might speed up the actual suturing part, the total time in the operating room isn't really any shorter. Once you factor in all the time it takes to set up and dock the robot, the whole procedure takes about as long as the traditional laparoscopic method.
So when you boil it all down, it's about trade-offs. The robot gives you these incredible benefits in vision and dexterity, and it's easier to learn. But it comes with a massive price tag, that long setup time, and one other major drawback. The surgeon loses all tactile feedback. They can't feel the tension on a stitch or the texture of the tissue. They have to rely completely on what they see, which is a fundamental change to the art of surgery itself.
So where does that leave us? Well, this really isn't the end of the story. It's just the current chapter in a much, much longer book. This race between human hands and robotic arms, it's all part of this relentless, incredible push forward in medicine. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a scalpel, a long laparoscopic tool, or a multi-million-dollar robot. The goal has never, ever changed. It's about getting the time-tested, durable, long-lasting repair of an open operation, but with the gentle touch and quicker recovery of keyhole surgery.
And this is probably the most honest and important takeaway from the source material. After looking at all of this amazing technology and progress, the authors basically conclude that the future is still unwritten. The jury is still out. We need more big, rigorous studies to really figure out which technique is truly the best for which patient. The science is still evolving right in front of our eyes.
Which leaves us with one final, really provocative thought to chew on. As our tools get more and more complex, evolving from simple steel to intelligent robots, what actually matters more for the outcome? Is it the sophistication of the technology itself, or is it the experience, the judgment, and the artistry of the surgeon whose hands, whether they're real or virtual, are guiding it? Something to think about.